Listen, I can't wait until Bernie Sanders retires because he's one of the saltiest, biggest haters ever. He's jealous of anybody with better pussy than him because he is pussy. Let's get into it, y'all. What's up, everybody? It's your boy AT2. Now, I've been hearing this whole commentary about Bernie Sanders talking about Kamala Harris and why she lost. So I wanted to hear it in full context for myself and give my own opinion. But I already know Bernie is a hater. He's always talking about Kamala lost because of this and that. Listen, you never been the nominee, damn it. Now, in 2016, did I support you? Yes, I did. And I thought you should have been the nominee. But now, fast forward to 2025. Your ass is just old and bitter, and I'm tired of it. And to talk about Kamala Harris losing, why don't we talk about how you have never been the nominee? First of all, you're not even a Democrat, but we can talk about that later. Let's go ahead and get into this clip, y'all.
Democratic Party in general to speak to the needs of the working class. This used to be, decades ago, one of the strongest Democratic states in the country. Now it's a strong Republican state because I think in many ways, Democratic Party has turned its back on what was its base. But I think our job and what the reason I'm here and the reason we go to red states all over the country is to make it clear that there are some of us who are prepared to stand up for the working class. And if we stand together, if we're united.
When Bernie talks about the working class, I think he's just talking about angry white people. Like that's basically what he's alluding to, angry white people. And he wants to appease to them. This is why he doesn't want to talk about identity politics. He's trying to appeal to angry white people. This is what he's saying. I just want to translate it for y'all.
We don't let Trump divide us up. There's no stopping what we can do as a nation in terms of improving life for ordinary people.
You said the Democratic Party has turned its back on the working class. You'd said something pretty tough when you were speaking to this crowd about Kamala Harris.
One of the reasons, in my view, that Kamala Harris lost this election is she had too many billionaires telling her not to speak up for the working class of this country.
Ouch.
Well, no, I don't think that's, I like Kamala, she's a friend of mine, but her core consultants, were heavily influenced by very wealthy people. How do you run for president and not develop a strong agenda which speaks to the economic crises facing working families?
I love this when they talk about Kamala didn't have an agenda. She didn't have a plan. She didn't have this. First, let's start out with a few things. Your first year of your child being born, the tax credit, it was going to be $6,000. Then after up to 3 years old, it was going to be $3,500. And then after that, 3 to 17, 18, it was going to be $3,000 for the child tax credit. Then she even talked about price gouging, which we know that's true because all these companies during the pandemic, they made the most money they've ever made. And they went on record saying that because they are price gouging us because we can't go anywhere else. So they know, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and price gouge you guys and make things more expensive for you, which they've been doing. And now with Trump and his tariffs, they're even going further into hiking up the prices because they're like, oh, now we got an excuse. So yeah, we can hike up the prices because now we can say tariffs, but they've been doing that way before. But again, I digress. Kamala talked about building 3 million more homes to take down the cost of housing. Because again, we see how if there's not enough housing, then yeah, the housing, it does increase the price of the housing and nobody can afford homes. Also, she talked about these people from overseas and these big companies buying single family homes, which that also increases the rent. See, I actually read, unlike most people, so I can tell you these things. She's also talked about creating more jobs, giving opportunities to Latinos. With Black men, she talked about getting us in there in the marijuana business because, again, we were heavily criminalized. However, we don't have any stake. I think it's less than 10% of people of color. That's just people of color, not black people, people of color who got stake in marijuana businesses. So again, Bernie, she was talking to the working class. Business, business credit, like up to 50,000 for small businesses, 25,000 for first-time home buyers. Like, come on now. She was talking to the working class, Bernie.
You have more income and wealth inequality today than we've ever had. You got 60% of our people living paycheck to paycheck. You got a healthcare system which is broken and dysfunctional. And despite spending so much, we're the only major country not to guarantee healthcare to all people. How do you not talk about those issues?
She talked about affordability.
Well, but in a vague, I don't want to rehash that campaign, but I think.
Oh, so when he was checked, I don't want to rehash it. Yeah, because she was checking him in real time. Now, she should have went with the facts because she's the one who talked about in-home care, having that a part of Medicare so you can have that paid for. Because again, when you have to take off of work or somebody has to stay home with an ailing parent or child, that should be paid for by the government.
I think the clue to Democratic victories is to understand that you got to stand unequivocally with the working class of this country. You need an agenda that speaks to the needs of working people. Is it a radical idea that we join every other major country on earth and guarantee health care to all people? Is that a radical idea? You tell me how many people are talking about that. Is it a radical idea to say that we've got to raise the minimum wage to $17 an hour? Is it a radical idea to say that in the midst of a competitive global economy, we need to make sure we have the best educated workforce, that all of our kids, regardless of income, should be able to get a higher education? These ideas exist all over the world. They don't exist in America. And they don't exist because of the power of the oligarchs economically and politically. All right, let's be clear. In my view, the current political system.
Bernie has been in government for I don't know how long. He's about 100 years old. What piece of legislation has he passed? Nothing, exactly.
In the United States of America is broken and corrupt. Does anybody think that it makes any sense at all that Elon Musk can spend $270 million to elect Trump as president and then become the most important person in government? Billionaires should not be able to buy elections. And by the way, that's not just a progressive perspective. Conservatives understand that too.
What makes you so?
Well, that's the issue right there regarding Elon Musk buying the election and possibly hacking it. But again, that's the issue right there. Kamala didn't have no big backing like that. And it's funny that he talks about that because over 40% of her donors were from small donors. It wasn't all from big corporations. And it's funny because Bernie talks about, taking corporate money, but he has taken corporate money as well, too. Walmart, corporate. Like, I can go down the list of who has sponsored Bernie Sanders. Big corporations have sponsored him. So I don't know what he's talking about. Big corporate don't like you have them too. Like, what are you talking about?
Sure that the solution that you're offering, which is a more assertive federal government, is something that is going to fly in places where people have been voting in recent years Republican and have an inherent distrust of government.
Well, they should, and they should have a distrust for a number of reasons. The government is too bureaucratic and not responsive. But
okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. I'm tired of hearing his mouth. But one of the things that Democrats need to work on is reaching out to those voters who decide to stay home. Reaching out to the voters that say, the system never works for me. The system doesn't do anything for me. They need to worry about reaching out to those voters. I think this notion of like all these Republicans, because Bernie is doing the same thing that Kamala is basically doing. Oh, we reach out to the other side and show that we care about them and we care about their needs. They'll come over here. No, when you run more Republican-like, it just leads to them voting for the real thing. Let's be honest about that. And that's something that happened to Kamala. Now, that's a real argument right there that you can make, that she went too far to the right. Because, again, if you're just going to be on the right, then I'm going to vote for the actual Republican. You trying to please these people, and for what? They're not going to vote for you. They're going to vote for the actual Republican. Now, granted, I love the videos of people like, oh, I regret voting for Trump. Trump, I lost my farm. My wife or my husband got deported. Now I'm broke and I have no job. I love those videos to see Trump supporters in misery. However, most of them, if you watch those videos, they'll say, oh, I would have voted for Trump. Yeah, I still would have voted for him. Even though they're struggling and everything else, they say, I still would vote for him. Those people, obviously, you cannot change their mind. You need to go to the people that decided this last election just to stay home. Why did you stay home? Why did you feel uninspired? Let's go ahead and reach out to those people. But as far as reaching out to the Republicans, or in Bernie's case, reaching out to the angry white folks, they over there with all the conspiracy theories and shit like that, let them stay over there. They're not ever going to come over here. And let's also talk about this too. When was the last time that Democrats won the white vote? I'll let you know. Lyndon B. Johnson. And mind you, that was his first term, because what ended up happening was that he passed the Civil Rights Act. After the Civil Rights Act was passed in 1965, they never won the white vote again. Now, some people argue that Barack Obama won the white vote. No, he won the male vote. He did not win the white vote. So again, let's be clear about that. But again, you guys, let me know what you guys think about all of this. And some people go like, oh, AT2, all you do is defend Kamala and da-da-da-da-da. And I will defend her every goddamn day because this is my channel, damn it. All right, love y'all. We out.